Kat of Kattalestv. I'm downtown again for another day in court, and I wanted to do a video about how the media plays into victims being able to come forward or not, as well as how the entertainment industry helps repeat offenders get away with repeat offending. Now, let me just explain something. When people complain about victims not coming forward soon enough and blame the victim all the time, that's a very lazy way of thinking. What you don't know, or you may not be aware of, it costs a lot of money to prosecute people. A lot of times the court system is they always make the excuse they're so busy, they have so many cases, are lagging behind, excuse me, and it costs a lot of money to go through with a trial. So what ends up happening is a lot of lawyers want the victim to settle. Sometimes they'll pay them to go away, and sometimes they won't. Sometimes the celeb will use their media contacts to slander, harass, intimidate the victims. Now you're seeing that in regards to the Harvey Weinstein case. Weinstein. It's coming out that, I think it was New York Daily News or New York Post had an article, defaming one of the women that came forward a long time ago with his groping allegations. And they plastered her picture on their newspaper, and they put her in a scantily clad outfit and made it seem like, she asked for it and her testimony's not worthy. Now, that's what happens. Not only that, she's one example. You can look at the Charlie Sheen story that happened several years ago, how all of a sudden he had all these millions of followers on Twitter, and everyone was trying to act like his lifestyle was the best. They wanted to be just like him. I mean, personally, I'm not even joking. I would never want to be so rich where the only way I could get love or sexual enjoyment was by paying people for their company. I find that behavior abhorrent and disgusting, but that's just me. The other thing about the entertainment industry, a lot of times they promote this lifestyle of the swinging bachelor, oh my God, my brain, you have to forgive me. Brain concussion fart. The guy that ran Playboy, who just passed away, Hugh Hefner. Yeah, they for 30 years they promoted this, bachelor lifestyle, living in a robe, having beautiful women to sleep around with for, your pleasure, no long-term real relationships, women are disposable. And the culture ate that up, and we lost a lot. We lost a lot about connection, real love, real intimacy, real sexual satisfaction, as opposed to just being used as a sex object. And I think pornography, in its worst sense, causes a lot of further damage to people because they're using that form to get gratification, and it's not about a one-on-one connection with somebody and loving somebody. It's about the objectification of a person. But let's get back to how the media is used to get celebrities off, so to say, is these celebs have connections and they make money for other organizations. And let's just say you're a comedian and you have a big company like, let's say, Live Nation promoting your brand, and they're making lots of money off of you, and that's your main source of income. Now, it behooves Live Nation to keep their comic, out there making more money, like the good slave that he is. Regardless if he's assaulting people, regardless if he's robbing people, regardless if he's got guns in his house or if he's got chicks in his stable that beat up bodyguards, or beat up photographers, it's interesting that no one's held accountable. And also, that said comic has an agent who wants to make more money, keep making money off of him. They can't make money off of him if he's not working. So what if he punches a kid in the face. So what if he attacks a couple of women in Georgia? It doesn't matter because he needs to make money. That's all they care about. And they use social media to like lambast the victims, to make a joke, to think it's funny, to make a meme, to make it's cool that a grown-ass man punches a kid in the face. They think that's funny. And by doing that, they are dumbing down society. They are promoting violence against people, and they're making light of abuse. The thing is that they don't want victims to come forward and to give testimony in court and to go through a trial process, because for one, it outs the criminal, and two, it costs money on both sides. It costs money for the court system, it costs money for the talent that they're trying to protect, and they don't want the bad publicity. So what happens a lot of times is they pay people off. You guys got to understand that. And for regular people who aren't rich, it costs a lot of money to find an attorney that will actually help you. And sometimes attorneys won't help you. Trust me on that. I have a case where I've asked several attorneys to help me. When I say several, I'm talking probably in the 30s, 40s, or 50 contacting different attorneys over the last several years to help me. And even organizations that their job is to help you find an attorney, they've turned me down because the people involved are celebrities. So all I'm trying to tell you is, as a victim of a crime, I know that it's very difficult for victims to come forward when no one will help them, when everybody wants you to settle and everybody wants you to shut your mouth and just take your medicine. Regardless if they slander you, defame you on TMZ, they don't care. They get away with it. The other thing is like this. TMZ is still in the courtroom, you know, which I found outrageous in regards to Suge Knight, because they got found culpable in the fact that Suge Knight's girlfriend sold them that video that shows Mr. Carter getting killed, as well as the incident between Clebo and Sloan. So I did a video earlier, but long story short, Toylan Kelly, Suge Knight's girlfriend, negotiated a deal with TMZ with the help of his business partner Mark Blankenship. And at first they were trying to get $500,000, and it got down to $55,000. It was a secured, sealed video that was evidence. The court said, you know, you're not supposed to let this out. It was like the defense team's product to use in their case, but Toylan Kelly and Mark Blankenship decided, screw that, we're going to sell it. And by doing that, they not only made $55,000 temporarily, TMZ made a lot of money off that video as well, because the more they played it, the more money they got, the more clicks, the more advertising dollars. But they are attempting to influence the case and probably spoil the jury. Now, I've been in court several times, and I've seen TMZ still there, and they're not held accountable for that. TMZ has slandered people on their website, lied about them, put victims' names on their website as a form of intimidation and harassment. They've allowed Suge Knight to use their website to harass, threaten victims or future victims, and that's not cool. And I don't understand how the LADA allows that to happen and why they're in the courtroom. I forgot to tell you guys this. One of the last times I was in court and TMZ was there, because they had set up a camera. So they have a camera guy and they have another young lady sitting in the courtroom as a written reporter. So it turns out it was around 8:30, 8:45. Suge Knight's not there. Time is passing. It might be close to 9 o'clock. I noticed that the TMZ cameraman is on his phone texting, and the TMZ female reporter is like on her phone, like texting whatever she's doing. And then the gentleman that works for TMZ goes over to the girl and whispers something in her ear, and they leave. Well, I didn't know what the hell they were talking about, but what was very fascinating, it turns out, the DA prosecuting the case is going to the sheriff's deputy going, where is Mr. Knight? He's supposed to be here. And the sheriff deputy was saying, well, they said he already left. In other words, the transport, he's transported in a let's say a bus or a vehicle, and sometimes there's delay. So literally hours pass. TMZ already left. I didn't think of anything of it till later. My theory is, well, let me tell you something that happened between that. So a detective is walking around. I don't know if we had left the courtroom yet while we were waiting or whatever, but I asked him, it might have been after when I asked him, but I said, after the court hearing, I said to him, oh, I saw you ask the other reporter what news agency he's with, and I thought he had, when he found out it was TMZ, that's why the guy left. And no, he's like, no, that's not it. And then I was like, well, why did he leave so early? And then it turns out Suge Knight didn't show up until maybe close to between 10:45 and 11 o'clock or something like that. So in other words, what I thought happened, and I could be wrong, TMZ knew that Mr. Knight was going to be late, like hours late, and that's why they left. Meanwhile, everybody in the court was waiting for him. They didn't know. The DA didn't know he was going to be that late. The detectives didn't know that he was going to be late, but TMZ left around 9 o'clock, and Mr. Knight showed up at 11, like I said, close to 11. So that means everyone knows TMZ has contacts in courtrooms as well as in law enforcement, but they have someone on the inside telling them information when Mr. Knight is coming or not coming. And to me, it just proves the fact once again, they are aiding and abetting a criminal, and it's not right. So I just, again, want you guys to understand that you guys harping on victims of crime is that when you're dealing with people with lots of money, I hope you never have to deal with it, but they are connected to people that make it their mission to slander victims and to harass victims and to make it so financially unbearable the victim gives up. That's what they do. So again, I hope you understand that victims always can't come forward, and sometimes it's wise for a victim to wait for the appropriate time when there's an avalanche of other people to come forward, so they can, some of that financial weight can be lifted off their shoulders. I hope you guys understand, and I hope you show more compassion to victims that have the strength to come forward against violent crimes, because they risk a lot coming forward, and these so-called bloggers and these reporters that think they're doing their journalistic endeavor by spreading lies and just copying and repeating what a website like TMZ says. You need to actually do your research and maybe ask the actual victims, and then try to corroborate stories to see if it's factual. Because in case you didn't know, what's his name? Cat Williams pleaded no contest to robbery involving the photographer. And again, Toylan Kelly, Suge Knight's girlfriend, pleaded no contest to selling that TMZ tape. If you don't know what no contest means, it's pretty much saying you're guilty without saying you're guilty. All right, you're given a penalty for saying no contest. But in regards to a civil court, they can't use that against you. See, these guys and women know all the tricks. So I'm just letting you guys know something if you're not familiar with the court system. It's rigged for the rich. If you're a victim and you're not rich, know that it's not necessarily going to be easy a walk, and it takes courage to go forward. So again, thanks for watching this video, and I don't know, help other people. You can subscribe, you can watch my other videos, you can follow me on Twitter, and stay in shape, because there's a lot of negativity in the world and we need to be positive. Have a great day. Bye.